Ray McMurtry of Pueblo, Colorado, and Roy Rastetter of Hale Stiller, Texas, had the top two competition cars. Met in the final round, it was McMurtry's Double B dragster covering the course in 7.56 seconds to outdo Rastetter's A-altered 8.5 seconds. In Pro Stock, Bill Grumpy Jenkins is one of the most respected contenders on the drag circuit. From Malvern, Pennsylvania, he brought his Chevy to town ready to run whatever challenged him.
Grumpy's toy will be one of the favorites in Pro Stock today, and you've been spending some of the time this morning, I guess, making final adjustments and tuning up. How's it looking?
Well, it still looks like we're in pretty good shape. We can't find where there's anything wrong with the car, and look the track over. I have not made a pass this morning, but it doesn't look like it's going to be radically different than it was yesterday, so I'm probably pretty well set up for the track.
What's the fastest time for this car?
Fastest time anywhere?
Yeah.
Well, on sea-level tracks, it's run 9:25, 9:28, that range, ET, and 149 miles an hour.
What do you figure it would take to win up here in this altitude?
About 980 in that range. Now, I run a 980 here, and I feel so I can probably run in the neighborhood of 972, 975 if I have to. And if I don't break anything, that should win.
After wading through the preliminary foes, it was Jenkins and Ken Dondero from Northridge, California, in Don Nicholson's Pinto. Jenkins took it in the style that he's making a habit. The Grump blasted out a 9.77 to Dondero's 9.93. With the Pro Stock title decided, the crowd was ready for the two big ones, funny cars and top fuelers. The unique funny cars are powered by ear-deafening engines and utilize a parachute to help them stop at the end of the track. One of the favorites was Butch Moss of Mount Clement, Michigan. Moss and a Mark Higginbotham Vega roared into the semifinal round of funny car competition, only to come up against a Gene Snow Dodge driven by Jake Johnston of Fort Worth. Moss lost his engine as Johnston flew to the lowest lapse time of the day, a 6.51. It would be Johnston in the finals. The funny car division had a couple of exciting moments in the way of spectacular crashes. Al Marshall and Doc Holliday were barreling down the track when Marshall lost control of his Mustang and hit the guardrail. The body of the car was torn off and came to rest in the infield, while the rest of the car was thrown and torn apart and scattered down the track. Miraculously, Marshall climbed out of the remaining wreckage unhurt with his brush with death. Charles Thurwanger, driving a Hemi-powered Vega, tried to duplicate the Marshall attraction. Racing Butch Moss when he too hit the guardrail, severely damaging his car, but again, no injuries. All the power and speed built into these cars, safety comes first, and every precaution is taken to protect the driver. Jeb Allen of Bellflower, California, one of the youngest drivers on the circuit, had brought his family and his praying mantis for the World Finals test.
This is your first time for the World Finals, right?
Yeah, this is my first. I haven't been racing quite a year yet, and this is my first time at the World Finals.
What do you think about the Amarillo Dragway and the World Finals being held in this part of the country?
I think it's good because you're at a high altitude, and like I never run it at a high altitude before, and I have to learn to run the car completely different. It's a whole different story. You have to put a lot more air through the motor and less nitro to lean the motor out to get it to make horsepower. And we found out that it was a little harder than we thought it would be, and so we hope today we'll get it dialed in just right.
Allen was to meet Clayton Harris in the semifinal showdown. Harris of Moulton, Alabama, was the Eastern Conference leader coming into the Amarillo races. His new Davincian fueler had set a national record of 6.21 in the first round of the World Finals.
Clayton, how do you feel today about your car? Everything all set for the races?
Yes, sir. We're just freshening up the engine a little bit here. We feel like we have a pretty fair chance of running a good number today.
What do you do on race day? What do you have to go through and check to make sure everything's in order?
Well, naturally, you want every piece of equipment or every part of the car the best it can be for the race. We have to go 5 rounds, and it'll be to win the race, and it'll be quite strenuous on all the parts.
Who do you figure your toughest competition is going to be today?
Well, it's a lot of tough guys here. It's hard to pick out only one. You know, this is a world championship, the end of the series, and all the good guys are here.
And you were here last year.
Yes, sir. We were here. We went to the semifinals last year.
How do you like racing in Amarillo?
Oh, fine. Great. Very fine place, and town's exceptionally receptive to racing.
Good. Thank you, Clayton.
Yes, sir.
Semifinal, top fuel, Clayton Harris and Jeb Allen. Allen jumped to a quick lead that was quickly erased as Harris overtakes the Whiz Kid and cops a slot in the finals against Jim Walter. Now with the sun fading, losers loading up for the long trip back home and fans standing for the final two big races, the World Finals were coming to a dramatic close. During the day, Clayton Harris had made several impressive runs against Bob Noyce, Hank Johnson, Herm Peterson, and Jeb Allen. He had worked his way through some of the best while Jim Walter of Paynesville, Ohio, had done the same with other entries. Walter was driving a Chrysler-powered 392 dragster that eliminated Ed Rennick, James Warren, also Don Reitzel, and Raymond Beagle. A full year of racing was on the line as Harris and Walter stayed. Both machines suffered big problems. Harris was ahead when his Dune Invention broke a rear end. Walter blew a tire, broke a main shaft, and lost a blower belt, but had enough speed built up to cross the finish line first.
Well, a guy that has to be most excited over a big top fuel win. This is Jim Walters, and Jim, I guarantee it was a fantastic day for you at the World Finals, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I'm so happy I can't even believe it. It's just great.
It's a long way from Paynesville, Ohio, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. 23 hours straight at it.
How did the competition go for you, Jim? Well, you got to be pleased to win anything, but how did it go in the past couple of days for you?
Well, I have not had a good year this year. I've had that. We crashed bad in, I guess it must have been early September. We crashed bad, and we had kind of a set down there, and I've had not a real good year, not like I've had in the past, but we just kept at it, and I come down here, and I knew I was going to win when I left home. I went 4 rounds here last year, and I said when I left home, I'm going to go one better than I did last year, and I had my mind made up, and they put that in the paper, said long on desire, but short on power, and I showed them.
How about coming from a champion? How about Amarillo, Texas? How were you received here in the NHRA again this year?
There is no city in the country that receives racers like Amarillo, Texas.
Well, Jim Walters, coming from a real champion such as you, we certainly appreciate that, and we hope to have you back in '73.
I'll be here.
The final race of the day, the World Championship in the funny car division. Larry Fullerton of Beverly Hills, California, the Fullerton Duhaney Hemi-powered Mustang, and Jake Johnston driving Gene Snow's Dodge. Here it is, the two strongest drag racing teams of the day going for the final big prize. Johnston and Fullerton, both powerhouses, both tops in their field. Blazing through the finish first was Larry Fullerton in the Trojan Horse with an elapsed time of 6.58 and 222.32 miles per hour.
Well, it was a big win in the Funny Car Championships for Larry Fullerton and the Trojan Horse. And Larry, it must be an exciting day for you here for the World Finals.
Well, it was very exciting. It was a really, really great thrill going through the lights and knowing that I won the World Finals. We sure had a hassle getting here.
The competition was fierce again this year, wasn't it, Larry?
Competition, I think, was as strong and as fierce here as it was at any other racetrack I've ever been in my life, I swear. It was fantastic.
It was one of those tough races for you all the way. It was, how close was it down at the end, or could you tell down there, Larry?
No, sir. All I knew is I had him, and I didn't shut off till I got 100 feet past the last light.
The World Final Champion, Funny Car Champion, Larry Fullerton. Again, congratulations on that Trojan Horse.
Thank you very much.
The World Finals of Drag Racing 1972. New champs, Larry Fullerton, Jim Walter, Bill Jenkins, Wayne McMurtry, Paul Blevins, Dave Bortman, and Dave Benesett. Amarillo once again had hosted the National Hot Rod Association's World Finals competition. These drivers and cars will go on now to other races in other parts of the country, other sanctioned events on the drag racing schedule. In 1973, it starts all over with regional races determining the field for the next World Finals, which will be held again in Amarillo, Texas, October the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Between now and then, you can see many of these same professional drag racers at local tracks in your area. Perhaps you, too, will will want to follow them to the World Finals in Amarillo next October.